random day in 1892, a 19-year-old Rachmaninoff woke up and chose violence. Is that even a saying anybody says anymore? This dude, I mean, there's no other explanation than he wanted to cause physical harm to the piano. Now, here's an important thing to remember. Rachmaninoff was 6'6". Dude was a giant. Apparently, he could also reach a 13th with his hand, which, just so you get an idea, that's a 10th, okay? I am barely grabbing the edges of those keys to play a 10th. Let me mark this out for you. That would be an 11th, a 12th. There's a 13th. It is an octave plus a 6th. Are you kidding me right now? So when I feel terrible about myself because some of these pieces are a little bit difficult, that's why. That's why. Because you know what? Because I'm not 6'6". Sorry! Grieg was 5'1". At least I got him beat. I feel a little bit better. Now, the dynamic isn't forte. No. It is fortissimo, which is literally twice as loud. That's not really what that means, but it's louder, right? But here's the thing. If you go further in the piece, you find triple forte, what was that? Fortissimo, sforzando, whatever that means. Anyways, let's just take a look at this because this is literally one of the most insane pieces ever written. It became his absolute hit. People would yell C# out of the audience at him. And it got to the point where he kind of regretted writing the piece because it had become so in demand every single time he performed. Really quick, these videos are made possible not by sponsors, but by things that I've made for you. I knew at a certain point, rather than taking sponsorships from companies that neither of us really care about, I thought it would be way cooler if I just built all of my knowledge into something that can help you start learning how to play. And that's exactly what I've done over the past years since I've been doing this. And we are just days away from the biggest Black Friday sale I've ever run. I'm gonna be giving you access to my brand new Better Piano system, which I have been working on for years. It is a culmination of everything that I have learned on how to teach you how to start playing this instrument in the most effective way I know how. It is an absolutely massive program. And this Black Friday, it's gonna be available at 75% off, and that is just the beginning because this year we gotta do something insane for Black Friday, and we are giving away 3 free bonuses. Check this out. So the first bonus is part 1 of my Better Piano improv system, and that is gonna be an entire additional course, complete with its own instruction, exercises, downloadable resources, backing tracks, you name it, it's in there. And that is my Intro to Improvisation course. Once you build up all the basics using the Better Piano system, this is gonna help you start playing anything you want in real time. And the second free bonus, this is part 2 of the Better Piano improv system, and it is another entire additional course. It takes the Intro to Improv course and bumps it up a notch and starts to address how to actually use modes, the modes of the major scale, which are incredibly useful for playing over all kinds of different chords. It tells you how to use them, what they are. It gives you a bunch of exercises on how to get familiarized with them. That also includes instructional material, exercises, downloadable backing tracks. It's all in there as well. And bonus number 3, I'm gonna give you my ebook that I wrote, Jazz Piano Improv Volume 1. I wrote out 50 choruses on 10 of the most famous jazz standard chord progressions. And then I broke down each individual chorus to tell you what's important, what to look for, what are some useful devices. And that comes with 40 downloadable backing tracks, all in different arrangements. So like you can have just bass and drums if you want to play piano entirely yourself, or you can just play the melody lines and hear some piano chords going on. You can even have like Rhodes chords going on. There's all kinds of different options. I got together with my trio, we recorded it ourselves. This package is just absolutely massive. It's over a $600 value, and it's gonna be available from Black Friday through Cyber Monday for 99 bucks. I always like to do something absolutely massive on Black Friday, and this is easily the biggest thing I've done because the Better Piano system, it's brand new, it's coming out right now. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm adding to it. It includes things like full classical piece breakdowns. In fact, I just added, it's over an hour long. It is a first note to last note walkthrough of Fur-Elise. And that is just the beginning. We're gonna be doing so much more. Maybe I'll do a full walkthrough of this piece because it is literally insane. Yes, it's a little more advanced, but if you make good use of the Better Piano system and all the things that come with it, you can get there as well. And you guys, this is how I support the work I do here on YouTube. Again, I don't take sponsorships and that's just because this to me just feels so much better. It feels so much more like like I can make something that's actually useful, that can actually help you learn a valuable skill. And that's really what this channel is all about. So I'm so appreciative of your support. It means the world to me. So when the time comes, be sure to check out that link, and I would love nothing more than to be able to help you on your musical journey. Okay, let's keep going. We start off with 3 octaves. Or is that 2 octaves? That's 2 octave. I guess it's 3 notes, 2 octaves, whatever. Accents on each. Listen to that. I mean, this is one of the most metal piano pieces ever written. But we immediately go to triple piano. Pianissimo. Right, piano, pianissimo, pianissimo. I didn't pay attention in music class. So far we're thinking, oh, this is really beautiful. It's dark and it's soft and it's mysterious. Let's get even quieter. Then we go into a section that this section drove me absolutely nuts. When I looked at it on paper as when I was younger and I was learning this thing, and I'm like, that doesn't look too hard. Well, first of all, we've just come out of this whole section with all these chords that looks really complicated. And it's not actually that bad. It's just like we're doing a lot of chords where the thumbs overlap. Right? And there's a lot of switching. A lot of this type of thing. Look at that. I mean, that to me is so fascinating. We're clearly in C sharp minor. I mean, this is the C sharp minor prelude. Duh. So we go from C sharp minor to its relative major, E major, drop it a half step. Technically, I guess this is D sharp major. And then we get this chord. D7, but with A in the bass. And then we get G sharp, which is the 5. This is the big 5 chord, leading to C sharp minor. That's what we're doing there. I never even thought about this. It's like a 2-5-1, but where the 2, instead of using the 2, huh? That's really cool. It's so interesting, like when you start looking at classical music through the lens of like functional harmony, because it's so easy just to learn the piece and never think about how it's built. But in this case, I'm thinking about how it's built, and I think it's the first time I've really ever done that, because yeah, we get this. That is straight up. That's a D7 chord. But this whole section, I mean, it's incredibly beautiful. It develops throughout this whole section, but it's like gets quieter and quieter. And then you have these building sections where it's like, and all the while, you just get so used to it, you stop thinking about it. But like, I constantly have to switch the layer of my hand. Which hand isn't technically like on top, right? Yeah, it's this like little dance of your thumbs. I mean, that's really all it is. No other part of your hands crossed. It's really just your thumbs like battling each other. But like, you get through this whole section, and then you wind up on the next page, and you go, ah, a nice break from all those stacked chords. But here's the problem. This whole thing starts and gets louder and gets louder and gets faster until you're finally playing this insane stuff, and I'm not gonna get it right, but like, I'll try it a little bit. That's not right, but you can see what's going on here. So like, we have this. I almost feel like it's the exact same. Is this the exact same harmonic progression going on? There's. Yeah, that's the D sharp 7. There's the D7. This is almost the. I never thought about this. This is almost the exact same thing that's going on. It's like, it's happening faster, obviously, but it's almost the exact same harmony. Listen to this. I always thought this was incredibly beautiful and really difficult to play for some reason. A major. Is this D major? Incredibly beautiful. And then, now we're starting to pick up the tempo here. This is the first place we get this marking, right? And as a kid, I'm thinking, wait a minute, this is barely out of Rachmaninoff's range, if he could indeed reach a 13th, as the rumor said. But what do we got to do? That bracket, I don't even really know what that's called. I just kind of always like knew what it was telling me, which was like, you're gonna break up that first beat. That's kind of it. I'm gonna play the bottom note first, and then I'm gonna jump up and I'm gonna play the rest of it. So even though it's on the downbeat each time, that is physically impossible to play, right? And if Rachmaninoff could play that, I don't know. I don't even know what to do. I don't know what to do anymore. Of course, he'd go writing something and be like, haha, I have the biggest stretch of any pianist that's ever lived. Let me write something that only I can play. This is how we gotta do it. You always get caught up in these things because you're anticipating the thing that's coming next, and the thing that's coming next is literally insane. And so I'm like, oh, I keep screwing it up. There it is. Nope, not even that.
What the hell is even that?
We're building up the same way that we came down the first time. You know what I mean? Like, we had that whole, that time we built down with that figure. Now we're gonna build up with it. And now this is insanity. It's actually not that hard to play, believe it or not. There's one thing about this that's incredibly difficult, and it's just like a weird thing to try to wrap your mind around. I feel like once you get it, it's not that bad, but learning it is a doozy. Let me explain. The right hand, what you're generally hearing as the melody, is actually not that hard to understand. It's like this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is actually way harder to play without the left hand than I would have expected. Right? So that is understandable, but here's the thing. All the while, you are offsetting the left hand, but the left hand, if you're doing up, up, down, I'm saying up, up, down. I just mean high, high, move down, high, high, move down. We're doing a different thing in the left hand. We're going low, up, up, down, 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 up, up. So they're opposite, which that's a weird thing to try to wrap your brain around. Ah, see? But here's the trick. The whole thing is supposed to be delivered really fast and triple forte. Then we get these octaves. And this chord is the most insane chord I think I've ever tried to play on the piano ever. It is, look at this. Now, I talk all the time about playing the piano, how when you get down to the bass, you don't want to play these insanely complex chords because it gets muddy down there. It gets really difficult to make any sense of anything. But if you're Rachmaninoff on a random day in 1892, you're 19 years old and you're mad at the world, this is what you do. You write a full-blown C-sharp minor chord on the bottom, and then just for good measure, you top off the next octave with another one. And now, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Well, you know, it's up there. But in a piece of piano music, 2 grand staffs, a full grand staff for the left hand and a full grand staff for the right hand, because they're so far apart. Right? So what we're reading here is we're reading the right hand playing that top entire grand staff. But then we gotta jump. All these jumps are why it becomes necessary to write it this way. So when you're reading this, if you have to read it, which obviously read it to learn it, but then you gotta not read it, because how can you read that many lines all at once? It's super difficult. But yeah, smash this chord and then watch these chords. Look how full these chords are. Yikes. Ah! Oh, that thundering chord is just like, it is violent. Pure violence on the piano. That's why, I feel like this is one of the most metal piano pieces ever written. It is utterly insane. We're not done, because this piece is a workout, and that's just to get it wrong. I mean, when have you ever seen a fortissimo, I don't even know. It's insanely loud, and it is absolutely wild. I don't know how else to describe this but violent, right? But then it ends in the most shockingly beautiful manner. Check this out. Ooh, not home yet. Still not home. Oh, now he's just playing with us. One more. Oh, that chord is unreal. One day I'll get it right. Anyways, you guys, I just wanted to cover that today because this piece has been one of my favorites for many, many years, and I wanted to share it because I just love how absolutely unhinged it is in the best way possible. And don't forget, that Black Friday sale is starting in just a couple of days, so if you want to start learning how to play, that's the best way to do it. Maybe by the time you're seeing this video, it might already be live, so use that link in the description and grab this year's Black Friday bundle while you can. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it, and thank you for watching this video and for tuning in to the month of music. We're not done yet, so stay tuned and we'll see you back here tomorrow.